Anthony Snell at breakfast.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Right, let's do this now. Let's talk food. Half an onion, leftover cheese, or maybe a couple of sausages that have gone hard round the edge, close to the sell-by date. To some, that's the start of cookery creation. To others, it's heading for the flip-top bin in the corner of the kitchen. But I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of throwing away food that could be used in another meal. Well, Love Your Leftovers was a competition run as part of Wirral's commitment to the Love Food, Hate Waste campaign. Joining me on the line now is catering consultant Anthony Zausmer, who was one of the winners of the competition. Anthony, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You won with your Scouse meatballs.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. It sounds straightforward, but how did you make your meatballs special, Anthony?
Right, well...
What are you giggling at? What's the matter with you? What are you giggling at? Sorry, go on, carry on.
I made them special through mint, but I mean, as far as I know it, nobody's ever done Scouse meatballs before.
Right.
And as you probably know, there's all sorts of controversy about what ingredients goes in. I've always believed it should be mutton, potatoes, onion, carrot and swede. Some people say a good Scouse should be beef. So basically, I took those ingredients, minced them up, mixed them with flour, egg and breadcrumbs, and made balls out of them. And
it was a winner, and they loved it.
That's right, yes. In fact, I've done this exhibition to two groups of carers recently, who are obviously responsible for sort of elderly people to give them a balanced diet, but again to use up leftovers.
Everybody's got their own idea on how to make pans of Scouse. I mean, my mum's tastes completely different to me mother-in-law's. I wouldn't say which one is the best. It's me mum's. It's me mum's actually. But everybody's got a different way of making it. I mean, people are ringing us up this morning saying throw a bit of Marmite in there. So there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to a pan of Scouse, I suppose.
There never has been. And as you say, everybody's family has got a different different way of doing things. I mean, I had your colleague Billy Butler down at the Scouse Cafe, the Scouse House in Birkenhead, which I used to have. Yeah. And we had all sorts of people phoning up saying, "Oh, but we put this in, we put that in," and my recipe was one that had evolved over time, but I also invented another one, which was called liverbird Scouse, which was made with chicken, which is definitely not traditional.
And everybody knows the blind Scouse, which is meatless, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So your meatballs wouldn't work on a blind Scouse, really, would it, mate?
No.
I mean, we're talking about throwing stuff away this morning. Have we been conditioned over the years that if your sausages say, April the 24th and it's April the 25th, we immediately throw them in the bin? I mean, it's an incredible waste, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I agree completely, and I think that what I tend to do is I buy a lot of stuff which is just on date and cook it and freeze it, of just laying it out on trays, sticking it in the freezer, and then when it's frozen, bagging it up so that you can literally take, sort of one sausage out at a time, stick it in the microwave, and there it is. So there isn't this wastage, and I would like to see people more conditioned into that, of saying, right, something's coming to an end, let's cook it now, freeze it, and I can use it later.
I'll tell you what I bought. I bought a couple of things over the past few years. One was a slow cooker, which was brilliant, because you can just throw anything. You could literally throw in a bag of gravel, a bag of sand, a bit of flour, a few tomatoes, and whatever you put in a slow cooker for 8 hours tastes fantastic. Mm-hmm. What's the reason for this? What's the magic of it?
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I mean, funnily enough, I can't get to grips with my slow cooker, I've got to admit. It never turns out quite the same, I find, as stuff that I've done in the oven in a conventional way.
So you're old school then, are you?
Well, not really. I mean, I'm quite happy to cheat where it doesn't affect things. I mean, rather than steaming vegetables like cauliflower and stuff like that, I'll stick it in a casserole dish and put it in the microwave for about 2 or 3 minutes. And I find that it virtually steams within itself. So, that's certainly purists wouldn't agree with that. But,
are we going back to maybe the old days of cooking a lot more at home? Because, being the dad of 3 kids and having to sort out their meals, every night when they come home from school, for me, just kind of buying the trays of food or bags of chips or bags of frozen veg and that kind of thing, that's a hell of a lot easier for me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I went to an event last year by Can Cook, the social enterprise in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And the figures were astonishing of how few people actually cook from scratch at home now. And it's just, I don't know where they find the money from, because I find it just so much cheaper. If you do buy the raw ingredients, yes, you have to spend a little bit more time preparing for the whole week, maybe. But I can't see the value in buying, ready meals, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Have you got 3 kids to look after school?
No, I haven't.
There you go, Anthony. That's the reason why you can't see the value in it. And the bread maker routine, that was the other thing I bought. I thought I'll start making my own bread, and it's gorgeous. You make your own bread with bread maker. It's absolutely gorgeous. But when you weigh up the cost of it, you leave the bread maker on for 5 or 6 hours, and you buy the flour or whatever. To make one little tiny loaf costs about £4.60.
That sounds a bit expensive, but I know what you're saying.
£3.60.
It certainly is quite expensive in comparison to what you can buy from the supermarket.
Yeah. Well, good to talk to you, Anthony. Anyway, so
thanks very much.
Just tell me a little bit more. What was in your Scouse meatballs again before we let you go?
Scouse meatballs are leftover lamb minced up, or else you can buy minced lamb, from the supermarket. There's 200 grams of carrots, 200 grams of swede, 300 grams of potato. This is actually 400 grams, just under a pound of mince. And 200 grams of onions.
Great.
And my special ingredient is some dried mint.
Get it in there. Anthony, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye. There's Anthony Zausmer there with his special Scouse meatballs and his recipe. Do you know what? I would have a go at that. I would make it. And this will happen in your house as well. You'd put all love and care into it. You'd read the recipe and you'd do it. And you'd spend a bit of time doing it all, and you'd place it down in front of the kids and go, "You're going to love them, the Scouse meatballs." And they taste them and go, "Oh, they're really, really nice, Dad. Thanks very much." And then they get the tomato sauce and just go over every single one of them and just take the taste away. It's called being a child.
Tony Snell.
BBC Radio Merseyside.